Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Let's see. How many people are watching us? Oh, so there are two people who are watching us. Okay, so what are we doing wrong? Kavya is saying hello. Hi, Kavya. What's up? So, anyway, so as you guys probably see the title, this is it, and this stream is the continuation of the previous part that we did a week or so ago. So we're gonna start from here, and I want to give a disclaimer. I don't want you all to feel like there's some sort of a propaganda from my end. All the references that I'm gonna show in this video, you guys should check out for yourself. I don't want to be the only source of information that you encounter. It's just the way it is. Also, make sure that you take the note of what I'm saying in this entire stream. This is the second part of the series, and the next part will be the last one, at least from this cast. And you don't hate the cast series. And once you are there, I'll start with a new topic. But for now, at least, we should be focusing on in this particular stream. So we're gonna wait for like 5 minutes or so until some other panelist would join us. And also, Polemist, if you don't have the StreamYard link, I sent you in the Discord. Check out your DMs, and you should join it. All right. Yeah, it's not the best time to start a stream, at least in India time zone, but I'm trying to gather a broader audience to convey my messages and my viewpoints. So there is that. Also, Kavya is like, yeah, sure. So yeah, Polemist, if you could and join the stream and hold up. Okay, so okay, we have the message from the other panelist as well. I guess. Why don't I see people who are on the stage? Like what? So yeah, we're gonna wait for 5 minutes until the streams since the stream start, and we're gonna see what we make out of it. At least from there. So for now, let's watch some memes while we wait. So expression memes. All right. Okay. Let's see, who do we have here? All right, Vipul. Vipul, you're on the stage. Like always, introduce yourself, and after 1 minute, we're gonna start go with the topic. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks for getting me up on stage. Good to be here, and I hope your stream's gonna go well too. So yeah, nothing too much to add. But just a little thing, but I'll share that later. I'll let you do the whole uh, introduction thing and everything, and then we can get more deep into that. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Okay, so I guess I mean, the 5 minute mark was not a kind of a set in stone rule. So I guess we could start since we at least have one panelist here. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna share the screen without any audio. I hope everyone can see yeah, I hope. Yeah, now I think everyone can see the screen. Can you see the screen, Vipul? Hello? Vipul, can you see the screen? Vipul, can you see the screen? And viewers, can you see the screen? Type in the comment. Bro, we are not having a discussion, bro. Like, dang. Hello, okay. Could you guys confirm if you guys can see the screen? Sharing. Okay. Okay. All right, I guess. Okay. People left. Hey. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's start. All right. So before we were here, I believe. Yeah. So in the last stream, I showed you why caste was like a nationalism. Okay. Wait, who was that? Hold up. Anyway, yeah. So in the last stream, I showed you guys as to why missionaries thought that the caste was like a nationalism to Hindus, and I want to rephrase it again. And this is from the Rev. Edward Storrow. He said that in his book India and Missionary Christian Mission Works, page 14 to 15. It says it is inextricably intertwined with the history of the race of professing it. It breathes through all our national life. It forms the essence of all philosophy and literature. It is associated with every act of life, from the childhood to the grave. Hold it thus upon the intensely conservative people may be imagined, and to abandon it seemed to them an act of denationalization. Caste was that important for Hindus, and in the later video, I'm going to show you why they said that. But anyhow, I hope everyone can see that point. Okay. All right. So now let's get to the next slide, I guess. Missionaries also said another thing. Caste was the only thing that bounded the Hindu. Huh. Now that's interesting. You might be falsely believe that, oh well, it was the gods that unified Hindus, or maybe the theology, or maybe the logic system, maybe the philosophy. But missionaries didn't think that way. What they thought was that in the Shastras, which is scriptures, there are good moral lessons and long drawn ethical speculation. That's the thing. That is the same thing that happened with the Greeks and the Romans. But here's where we were different than those, and why they couldn't convert us like they managed to do with the Romans. But they are not essential part of Hinduism. That's the key part that many people fail to understand. That it's not only about the Kriya, which is the not Kriya, but the Bhav. Bhav basically includes your scriptures and your worldviews, your philosophy, and whatnot. But there's something called Kriya, which takes the form of caste as well, which tells you to distinguish things from one to another. So it's kind of like that. And then he goes on to say that it's a requirement or social ceremonial. To keep a caste is the one law binding on a Hindu. That's what the missionaries thought. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just a random casteist dude, you know. But these quotes are not from the first missionary who is here in the current times. These are the missionaries who were talking about the caste when it wasn't even politicized, when it wasn't even had a benefit for anyone to even talk about it, whether that was against it or in support of it. Anyway, now here's the thing: when people say that, oh well, missionaries had nothing to do with the colonization, it was just people who were doing the colonization, it has nothing to do with Christianity and whatnot. But here's the thing, and that some people have misinterpreted, which is that that's not actually the case as to what happened in the past during the colonization. Let me show you what was going on. So in 1850, while under the company rule, the Caste Disabilities Removal Act, where he observes that prior to the passing this act, the excommunication of a converts from their caste religion was a major deterrent to the conversion to Christianity. Why? Now he will tell you. Until the 1850, the Hindu who abandoned his ancestral faith could not inherit the property. Now here's the thing. Now what would a colonizer would gain from passing such a law? And it only seems to benefit the Christian. Now isn't that interesting? Even the Mughal themselves, even the Muslims themselves, couldn't manage to do such things. That tells you that colonizers and Christians were the same. They passed down the same law to get you out of your own faith, to get you out of your own doctrine, and to get you out of your own community, and then to inherit the foreign identity. And these same colonizers did not wanted you to have any repercussions. That is the reason why they passed these Caste Disability Removal Act in 1850. Isn't that interesting? And then it goes on to say that he's ancestral faith. Now, thanks to this justice, now missionaries are thanking the colonizers. Isn't that interesting? Missionaries today would say, oh, well, colonization was a bad thing. It shouldn't have happened. They treated native people badly. But here's the thing. The missionaries are literally thanking the colonizers. And who could be these people? These people were the one who became a Christian while staying in this land, and they were thanking the colonizer, the invading forces. Let's keep reading. The Hindu Christians has claim equal to that of his idolatrous brother, but the law makes no distinction, society does. Society still managed to save Hinduism. The caste still managed to save Hinduism while the laws of the invader tries to crush it. Again, it was still happening in the 1815, in the time when it was not beneficial to anyone to say anything about caste. Now, another thing, he who breaks the caste never is permitted to live. Now, here's the thing. When people say, oh, well, what about the untouchability? Why was that? Now, again, I'm not trying to defend something who was done by some individuals. That's not what my thing is. If someone discriminates or does crime against others, he doesn't get to just get away from the punishment just because is from the caste or whatever. But what I'm saying is that where did the idea of such things came from? And he actually recounts that. Edward actually recounts these untouchability practice. Look at what it says. He who breaks the caste never permitted to live with his family. Isn't that kind of uh, make reminds you of something? To eat with them. The circle in which he formerly moved, avoid him takes avoid him as Jews would a leper. So they are considering Hindus who are still adhering to their faith and who converts to that, and they are considering him to a leper. And the association in which Hindu takes such a pleasure. Intermarriage conjures with equals. Okay, hold on. Okay, conjures equal with equals, and the status in society are his no more. All the ignominy, pollution, and the disgrace associated with the minds of the most bigoted superstitious with the ideas of outlawing, ostracism, excommunication, fall of disease are heaped upon his head. Now he's talking about the Christian who left his caste and his faith. Even when the Christian faith enables a man to surmount that intense prejudice, fear, and the loathing with which he has habitually regarded the laws of the caste. What? Laws of the caste. Now, here's the key thing that I want everyone to understand. When it says caste, it's not talking about just a Brahmin, Kshatriya, or Vaishya. It's talking about the Shudras also. When someone says that we are being casteist, don't think of it as it has to be some caste of three caste. No, it's talking literally about the caste system that is prevalent even among them, because it was a social community net that everyone from all community shared and get benefit out of it. Now let's keep reading. The relative obstacles thrown in his way are the most formidable nature. Every friend he has will regard his act with a singular degree of grief and abhorrence, paralleled by no emotion which an Englishman can call forth amongst his relative by any act of folly or of a crime he might commit. They will do at most to dissuade him from such fatal step, and the knowledge of the intense grief humiliation he may give them, though not perhaps able to shake his resolve, makes the struggle more deadly. Now here's the thing. These are the people that Christians actually wanted to convert. They knew what's going to happen, and that is the reason why they needed these idiot people to rally about with their religion, because it was foreign and invading forces. That's what it says. I literally shows you all the evidences that you need to understand. Let's keep reading. Huh. Whatever colonization, yeah, was a good thing for any society and country. Yeah, I mean, like I said in the stream, you don't have to agree with me. All I'm trying to do here is show you the proof. If you don't like what I say, go ahead and read it for yourself. I'm not the only guy. I'm not the only guy who has documented. It's a documented archival fact, and I didn't just made it out of myself. It's there. It's written. You can see the citation. It's not just from me. Anyhow, caste made evil colonizers who saw women as prey. Now look at what they had to think. Those who think that, oh well, you're being converted because there is a caste problem in your community. Now that's a very big, and you don't see everyone as equal, I guess. But let's see what they actually and what where you will be converted, how you will be treated, and how they are viewing you as such. And there we see the religious position of a woman powerfully affected them that of men. The former being intensely ignorant and the superstitious, have the most erroneous and dismissal ideas of what it is to become a Christian. They will move heaven and earth to prevent what they deem such calamities. An influence of the mothers and sisters, our wives' tears, the entreaties may well be supposed to weigh heavily when the mind contemplates a change of religion. Now that's a thing. That's the reason they couldn't convert you with most resolve. They couldn't convert you with the rights back. They couldn't convert you with feelings. They couldn't convert you with anything. What they thought they could convert you with? Your wife's tears, your mother's tears, your sister's tears. They didn't came here just to get you out of your way. They had eyes. They saw your women as the object to the means. This is what they think. May well supposedly wait upon when the mind of contemplates the change of religion. Like I said, look at it from the. Now here's the thing. Again, another thing that I want to point out. Indian secular education system was designed to make brown sipai and not a competent people. And I stood with this statement. Here's why. A very wide diffusion of okay, all right. Is this spinning? All right. Racism practicing it was a good thing for Indian society, and yeah. Anyway, so everybody. So here and Edward says the very wide diffusion of a Christian truth has taken place. Our mission school contains native of over 75,000 natives. Every year, therefore, thousands are passing out of our schools into the active life, instructed in our principle, families with our scriptures. What? This was the first steps that they took to get rid of your faith and your culture, familiar with our scriptures and intimately acquainted with ourselves. A very marked change in the religion opinion is rapidly passing over a large portion of Hindu society. Thousands, chiefly connected with the rich and high caste families, have drifted away. Now that's the thing. That's the reason why I always hold Brahmins and other twice born caste people to more higher degree than I hold to the someone like myself. The reason for that is you were their main target, and the fact that your kind has done more damage to and bring more power to this leftist, jihadist, liberal academic ecosystem than any of the converted or atheistic Hindu from any caste. You are the one responsible. Most of the prominent liberal lobby faces are not actually from the uh, uh, Shudra Varna. They are not. They are from the twice born. That's the reason. And if anyone wants to disagree with me, well, go ahead. Look at the prominent faces of the left and liberal in India. You will see what I'm saying. Anyhow, chiefly connected with the faiths, have drifted far away from the Puranic form of Hinduism, and the more recent and popular development of it, they express themselves somewhat what thus idol worship is very foolish. Now, interestingly, Christians actually practice the idol worship. They literally wear a torture device. Yeah, kind of ironic. Idol worship is a very foolish and superstitious custom. We do not believe in Kali. Yeah, kind of ironic. Or Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you don't even believe in Krishna. Oh, okay. Durga. Oh, all right. Or any other god. We worship only one spiritual and eternal God who has attributes such are described in your Old Testament. Wow. See, and by a book which literally has mass and whooping of people in it, and they are attributing such God to the Hebrew Bible. Hey, I have nothing to say. That's the literal definition of a brown sipai, bro. And this is the education that you're sending your kids to study. I have nothing else to say. Like, dang, bro. Anyway, we don't. Who has attributes such as are described in your. We don't need a written revelation of religion. Nature can teach us all we require to know. Jesus was a very wise and holy teacher. Now here's the thing: how is he a wise teacher when he didn't respect his mother, he wasn't a peaceful guy, nor was he, I don't know, like a good person to begin with. He he was a very intolerant towards people outside of his race. His disciples were thieves who stole things. He vandalized the private property and whatnot. How could you call him a holy and good person? I don't understand this one. But hey, that's what happens when you become a brown sipai, when you're studying under the brown sipai education system. Anyway, also very required to know Jesus was okay, but he was not a god. For it is impossible there can be a trinity. How can there be a three be one? For it is impossible that three in one and be there three. The moral example taught in the Bible are, on the whole, are better than any other we are acquainted. Oh, apparently Bhagavad Gita is full of shit, and all the Bhavishya, Vishnu Puran, and Shiv Puran, Vedas, Upanishads, all of them are not good according to these brown sipais. You know, the Bible is good, and religion is very excellent. Oh, but it is too good. For how can anyone be expected to keep it strictly? Many of our customs are bad. Women ought to be educated a little. Oh, and widows should be allowed to, and it would be a little thing too if the government. Okay, all right. So this is it. Now another thing. Okay, hold on. Hold up for a second. Wait a second. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So let's continue. Now another thing, the more educated you are in the Indian secular schools, university, then the more brown sipai you'd be, and it is not your fault. When people say, "Oh well, this is bad in our society, this is what it is," it's not your fault that you're finding all these unnecessary problems that maybe don't even exist, but you're still trying to yap about them. Why is that? What's the reason behind that? And I may have found the reason for that. Because again, let's look at what actually the missionaries said about this. So hold up. Okay, so here the missionary said, the moral tone and the character of all who receives the education described is elevated and corrected, quote unquote, and they are more honest, truthful, and temperate and manly than the heathen. Yeah, this is what we are to them. Heathen. We are heathen, bro. If you think Muslims are bad because they call you kafir, then you should feel the same way about Christians because they call you heathen around them. And they certainly excels the student of the government college. It is often indeed very interesting to watch how far they are under the conscious power or unconscious power of Christianity. Their modes of reasoning on moral questioning are mainly Christian, even when they deny the divinity of our faith. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting what these secular institutions are doing, or what are the same thing that our missionaries are supposed to do? Propping Christianity as something superior than it is. Interesting. Now, again, same thing I want to bring. So now you might be always come to realize that why do missionaries all the time or the left ecosystem vilify caste so much? Why does it happen? And the answer lies here. So again, it's in the India and Christian Mission by Edward Storrow, uh, page 125. It says, now read it. Uh, yeah, now read it. So here it says, in almost all caste, when the students remain even moderate time, there is an annihilation in their minds of some of the greatest obstacle to evangelization of people. All the belief in existence of God and goddesses, all the confidence in Shastras, all reverence for caste are destroyed. They are putting your caste in the same manner as your logic system, as your customs, as your culture, as your scriptures. They are putting caste, all reverence for caste are destroyed. All belief in the existence of goddess and goddess and confidence of Shastra, all because for the reverence for caste are destroyed, the whole system comes to be regarded with the contempt and derisions and dislike. Various reasons may lead to the outward conformity with the requirement of Hinduism, but all faith is swept away. This is what the dog whistling they are doing when they are saying caste is such a big villain. This is what it actually means here. That is why you hate caste, even though there isn't much data to substantiate that such a villain, that it exists. There isn't such a data. All you have is a propagandist material that may have happened in like 10 years ago, and it has been shown to you as if it happened in just yesterday. Again, same thing. Statistically speaking, those things never exist. Also, also another question: how is it that the most prominent faces in the Indian libs and the seculars are high caste? You might be shocked or surprised to see that there are not that many Shudras in the left ecosystem who are in the higher position. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I hate that, by the way. I don't like that. I hate such people. But anyway, and the answer lies here. Among those who reaches the upper caste in these institutions, there isn't 1 in 30 who lives with any convictions that the popular religion is either good or true. See, this is why Christian claims make sense to them. Because if the religion is in majority and it is popular, then therefore it must be true. That's what the validity for this religion. 1 out of 30 people who leaves any conviction, the popular religion is either true or good. Interesting, very interesting. That's why you have so many upper caste people in the high ranking of the left ecosystem. That's why. Anyway, mm, all right. So another missionary saying the truth about the caste. Again, what is it? About the brown sepoy. About why you were tricked into believing that colonizers were actually good for you. let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. All right. So, and the missionary is again saying, and this is from Henry K. Roll, Carey and the Land of India, by American Boards of Commissioners for the Foreign Mission, April 1910, page 1, 7, 16, and 23. It says, the railroads do much today to break down the system of the what? What system are they always talking about? It's not as if they care about people, it's what they want. It's caste. Again, their biggest villain is caste. It's not philosophy, it's not logic, it's not scriptures, not anything but caste. See what they have to say. To introduce Western ideas to the people of the East and link together the Western worldview with the East. Serious obstacle lays in the ways of missionary success from the beginning, and these were not removed from the with the removal of oppression of the government. Caste was the continual hindrance. This is exactly what it is. Caste was the major hindrance to all these people up until 1910. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, the work of the English government is breaking down the old system of Indian people. What is this old system? Education and government and the railroads are doing much to destroy what? Not logic system of India, not the philosophy, not the Vedas, not anything, but caste. And when the caste system falls, Hinduism must go with it. Like I said, don't believe me. Look at these citation and sources that I'm providing you. Don't believe me. I'm not a good guy. I'm a random dude. But look at what I'm showing you and cross-check it for yourself. Also, what missionaries got right about Hindu mindset? Again, it's from the Edward Storrow in 1859. He says, everyone seemed to disposed us to sink his individuality into the general life of community, to which caste attaches him. Custom has the forces, and the power of the law, and no one ventured to disobey her. We ever ask in reference to the practice or a usage, is it right or contrary? But to a Hindu, they simply inquire, is it a custom? See? Again, all these things leads to one very simple conclusion, which is that yeah, anyway, that's another. I don't understand what's wrong with these people. Oh, why you speak with such a higher accent? Dude, that's my accent. Well, like, what you want me to do, huh? Change the thing, the way I speak? That's not how it works. Just so you know. Anyway, so let's continue. Oh my God, that's a. All right, let's try to read it at least. All right, missionaries had a better understanding of caste than our reformers, quote unquote reformers, or the current politicians. Interesting. Indian caste of today is hereditary in institutions that are at once social, industrial, and religious to some extent, and racial in character. The point considered and the most essential in caste are food, its preparation, intermarriage within the same caste only, hereditary occupation, and peculiar sympathy with the whole caste, which taking a form of initiativeness leads to the to individual Hindu to follow the example of his caste, just as a sheep or a wild pigeon follows the example of flock. These ideas may be far on the grounds of local variation of observable customs and the usage of the same caste. In one place, a Hindu will consent to do in what in another would perpetually used to do refuse to do, simply because in the former he is countenanced by this example of his brethren, and not in the latter. Just as a flock of sheep or a pigeon may, from accidental causes, somewhat varies its habit or movement in a different localities. Those who want to see that reference, here's the reference. Let's keep reading it. Fewer important things about the caste preservation. Things that caste preserved. There are undoubtedly benefits connected with the caste. Missionaries have noted its values in a matter of securing economy and advantages of divisions of labor and the protection of coming from the larger caste. Family. It promotes to some extent cleanliness. What it promotes? Cleanliness. The same issues that India is having about the civic sense and the moral restraint. Again, the same thing that we saw in the student protest. It also has proven its value to the British government from the political and policy point of view. It has kept a learned class that might otherwise have been bloated out of existence to a higher caste. It has been temporary element of a great value in it that it forbids the use of liquor. Caste has made the Hindus content with their lot, and the system has always upheld certain level of moral standards by its extraction of obedience. The evil. Now, this is what they're calling evil. The caste that you're calling evil, the same evil that they are talking about. The evil of the caste are endured without a protest, except among the one who are enlightened. Indeed, some of the most greatest sticklers for the institutions are found among the lowest and the outcast. Again, another thing. What holds every Hindu and in the entire Indian subcontinent as one? Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess, and you will see. All right. Let governors gain knowledge. Yeah, sure. All right. So Supreme has said that like and share. Yeah, do that, please. It'll benefit me a lot. And Primo, if you could join the stream. Hold up. Let me send you paste the StreamYard link. Mm. Mm. G. Mm. All right, so let's continue. Anyway, all right. So, what was the cement that hold every Hindu together? It was the idolatry and superstitions are like the stones, and the brick of a larger fabric, and the cast is the cement. This is what holds you all together. This was what it holded you. At least that's what your enemy thought. And this report didn't came from like some Manuwali. No, it came from the missionary who was working in the 1839. Isn't that interesting? Let us undermine the common foundation, both will tumble at once. Both will be destroyed if you destroy the caste system. That's it. Isn't that interesting? Now, isn't that interesting? Kind of ironic if you think about it. Anyway, let's keep doing it. So yeah, missionaries thought that caste was a cement, bro. Caste was the cement that hold everyone together, and every Hindu. Anyway, hmm. All right, let's see. Caste. Now, let me ask you all: where does your morality come from as a society, as a community of the nation, as civilization? Well, caste is the foundation of your moral standards, and I'll show you why that is the case. Okay, so here's what a missionary has to say. Caste is at very point connected with Hinduism, a thing interwoven with it as if Hinduism were the wrap and the caste the woof of the fabric of a life. Personal responsibility for one's own moral and religion thus becomes merged in a caste views and practices. The individual conscious is lost in the ethical judgment of others. Custom thus becomes the practical god of all Hindus. And in no land is a religion so dominated by society interpretation of it. No land, the kind of moral about the caste that we had, no one had such a moral that was so as strong as ours. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, now again, now this may offend some people, all right? This line may offend some people, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So, did the missionaries actually care about the Shudra's dignity? And were they the priority? Let's actually look at this uh, inference for a second. And what the missionaries were actually had in priority. So here it says, but all available resources should be concentrated on the low caste who are ready and to brought into the church. At the same time, Mr. Sherrick insists on the other consideration also, that first, caste is the ethical citadel of Hinduism. Caste is the citadel of Hinduism. Again, the same thing is coming up, and taking of the outpost will not appreciably affects its power of resistance. Hmm. What did they consider Shudra as such? An outpost who were not good enough to them. That the schools are only the way by which missionaries can get access of Hindus of what? See, that was what the manner of the missionaries were. That is why you had these secular schools by missionaries, because whom did they want to attract? Girls and higher caste people. They did not care about the Shudras at all. And then he continues, preach to every creature, disciple both and high and low. Let no differentiate deters, and no seeming slowness and advances and dishearten or discourage. Attack all the line. Take the outpost, yes, maybe. The storm and storm the citadel too. Caste is the citadel. Again, the same thing has been inferred. Pierce the pierce the rocky mountain from both sides. Caste is the rocky mountain, and having done all, stand wait for the god. Yeah. Hmm. All right. Let's see. Is there someone here? Okay. Shall we wrap up? Okay. Shall we wrap up? Yeah. Anyway, so I guess this is it for today's. I guess hold up. Yeah, let's go all the way to the 70 at least. People shouldn't feel guilty about the cast, even if some people use it in some isolated area, because see what it saved. See what cast actually saved, instead of looking at some outlying examples. The subdivision of nation into caste, though under the different names, prevails everywhere and is everywhere materially the same. Caste of an individual is determined by his birth, and by birth alone, and it is the system, and it is this system of caste which is, as it were, the keystone of Hindu social life. It has enabled Hindus to preserve their nationality in spite of repeated conquest, and has hindered them their being absorbed by their conquerors. Although centuries have elapsed since the Mohammedan conquest, its caste saved you from the Islamic conquest. Listen what the missionaries are saying, because that's important to get into your mind. The Muslim Islam that you despise, this is what saved you from it. And the Muslims have settled a large numbers over the face of the country. Yet they remain quite distinct and arid, separate people. Though they have domineered and tyrannized over the Hindus, they have robbed and plundered them. The follower of the Brahma has kept aloof from the despised Muslims, and no relationship or intercourse of the family has ever existed between two races. Again, hey, missionaries have said the quite fair out loud. Islam is a race, bro. It's not just a religion. Hey, I commend missionaries for that, bro. Like seriously. Anyway, let's see. The assertion may appear strange, but yet, indisputably, this division of people into different castes has contributed immensely to the preservation of public morality. Hey, that's what your morality is about, man. That's what saved you from Muslims, and this would probably save you in the next later centuries if you unite with this front that missionaries saw as a threat. You saw what they said about the caste system. Oh my god, bro. Hell no, bro. All right. So let's see. Okay, so the earlier missionaries were crying at why, why wouldn't British it touch, why British wouldn't touch the caste? Here is the thing. Another thing. Missionaries are getting from left, right, and center. Yeah, glory to Lord Ram and glory to Rudra. Anyway, let's keep reading. So now the again, look at the lament of missionaries. It's in 1865. Those who would allow no fear of God or man to check them in their evil courses trembles because before their caste and dread that the sentence of exclusion which would at once deprive of them of the friendship and the intercourse of their nearest kindred and send them a vagrant through the land. In a vein of Mohammedan power strove to crush the system, the Englishmen were too polite to contempt. Hold on. The English serves too polite politic to attempt to meddle with it. Hey, this is what it is. This was the reason missionaries were getting hell all but everywhere, bro. Look at this. They wanted missionaries to attack the caste. They wanted everyone to attack the caste because that what it saved was literally the reason why you are still a Hindu. You are not a Christian. You are not a Muslim. Why? Because of caste. Because if it was not caste, you would have been wiped out from the face of the earth the moment another civilization attacked you. You didn't have some such a good theology. You didn't have such a good logic system. Not that much that could fend off such a barbaric invaders. What you had was a caste that fend off all these things and kept your religion, your teaching, your moral standards intact. Hmm. All right. Hold up for a second. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. So I think today is this is enough for today at least. We're gonna have another stream, and this will be the last one that I will do on this topic. Because and before we go, let's continue this. Doubtless, the distinction of caste observes the bishops. Observe the bishop. Is there is here to carry a ridiculous and often unreasonable extreme, but to aim at destroying it abruptly. to seek no confound all ranks and conditions, and to make onslaught on that which the immemorial usage has concentrated would be to excite revolution in their country, to injure the interest of religion instead of serving them, and to enter the idyll of the pursuit. The result could never be reached. This is it. This is it, my friend. This is it. Caste is universally acknowledged to be the strongest bulwark. Let's see this one as well. Now, again, what I said earlier, caste was the thing that made the missionaries more afraid of Hinduism than anything. It wasn't a logic system. It wasn't a philosophy. It was, it wasn't a scriptures. It wasn't a teaching. No, what missionaries actually feared was the caste, and this is what they have to what they had to say. And this is also again in not only going in the 80s or in the 2000, it was going in the 1924, in 1910. Here it says, caste is acknowledged to be the strongest what bulwark of Hinduism and the greatest obstacle to spread the Christianity. For the time being, let us agree to the common assertion that the people of India do not mind having 2 or 3 religions. Those people who call us the intolerant, those people who call us bad, those people who call us we hate the things because just for sake of the hate. This should be the reply to those people. That we don't care about what your cult actually believe in, because we are superior and we know that as long as you don't demolish their family loyalties or slander their caste prejudice, they will not disturb you now, even though they don't agree with your doctrines. Caste again is the strongest bulwark of the Hindus. Again, don't trust me, don't listen to me, but look at what I'm saying, showing you, and go ahead and look it up for yourself. Do the cross verification. I'm not afraid because my views are consistent and they have truth by their side. All right. So I guess that is enough for the stream that we could talk about it. From after 1 hour, most users, if you want to continue streaming on the Instagram, and destination from the stream and re-add it. Okay. We have some problem with Instagram. And the live and the link. Okay. All right. Yeah, you know what? I just kind of bullshit, so I'm gonna remove it. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so that is the strongest bulwark of Hinduism, bro. Like, I don't know what else to say about this one. So yeah, this was the stream for today. I hope you guys liked it and learned what I wanted to show. So before we wrap it up, I wanna make a request to all of you. Okay. So if you guys could scan the QR code of the Patreon, or head over to the description and click on the Patreon link, and you will be here in the destination. And hold up. Yeah, here. You'll be redirected here, and once you're here, you could help me financially. There are 2 membership plans that I have. If you guys could do me a favor, you can either buy the Patreon. Hold up. And here's the thing: it's not a requirement for any viewers, by the way. But if you could, but if you yourself couldn't, I think you should share it with someone who can. I have 2 plans for the Patreon members. First is for early member, which costs around $15, which you get a general support, ad-free content, and fan requests. You would get to decide the topic of this channel, and you would also get access to the private community with me. You can message me anytime you want. You also get a benefit of Discord that I have admin authority of, and a little support. You also get kind of the same, but you will be supporting me in a bigger way. So that is it. I hope you guys like the video, and please share it with someone who can support me, and share this video in general, because this information needs to be spread to every Hindu who has been gaslighted into believing as that their system and the society was fractured because of the very thing that literally supported them throughout all the centuries, throughout all this turbulence time. So yeah, share this video, like this video, and once the stream ends, leave a comment on this video. And I really appreciate you all support, those who support me right now, and those who are considering to support me financially later as well. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next stream. It will be a final part of the series, but my efforts will never be stopped. Thanks for watching the video. Till then, bye.